Morning. So, yeah, Sunday, and it's been heavy rain yesterday. So I'm looking a bit at the damage in the garden, and the roses they're all needing a bit of tidying up, really, to be honest. But and the rest of the garden, the grass has shot up, the weeds have shot up, so that needs a bit of a work doing on it. Um, but there's this element where gardening is it's a bit like a never-ending task. But there's something cool about that, because it's a little bit like there's little, slightly annoying but hard-ish, but not that hard jobs to do um, that give you a sense of satisfaction when you've done them. And there's something to be said about that. Um, because it's like another task that's needed, which I should do today, really. But we'll see if I manage to build the motivation for that. Is to get a garden fork and go across all of the grass that we have, which is like three patches at the back, and one of them's pretty big, and then one at the front, and aerate it, and put like just stand on the rake, go around the whole garden, because it's all very compacted and needs more aeration and stuff to get the nutrients and the water into it more regularly, and that'll do it a good job. And I think I will do that today. And so that's partly why I didn't go for my walk this morning. Because I also slept better because I woke up super early and I said to myself, right, go back to bed, yeah. Um, so I did, and I feel better for it. Um, yeah, so I had about 7 hours sleep last night, which is pretty miraculous for me. Um, and that was good, it was a good choice to make. And also, yesterday I did about 20 kilometers of walking, or thereabouts, yeah, about 20 kilometers. And so I'm feeling I can feel a bit tight, I'm a bit tight. Because in some sense, it's like doing like pretty much like a half marathon of walking yesterday. And so there's this element where you do need to give your body a rest. So there's this thing of like, probably and I also wanted to kind of, think about whether or not I could convince my missus and my boys at some point today, and it's going to be a lovely sunny weather. It's about 20 degrees today, 21. It's a cold wind a bit this morning, but it's just so fresh and nice after the rain. And I was kind of thinking, can I convince them to go for a walk, for a coffee or something at one of the local farm shops or something later, or even to the beach or something. But it gets harder. They're teenagers, and stuff like that. So I would love to do that with them, and like, but we'll see if it happens or not. So it's kind of day of rest a little bit with some light walking if they're convinced to do that, and then gardening, and then gratitude really as well. I mean, that's one thing that's come to mind this morning as I'm walking around. I'm just thinking, gratitude um, for everything really, which is an underrated thing to be doing. Often is to have gratitude and just be grateful for being alive. For feeling the aches and pains after all that walking yesterday, and for having some money to have some steak in the fridge. Not that it's top whack, nice, the nicest steak, but it's steak. I've got some rump there, and it's that thing of gratitude for having a garden like I have. It kind of helps with the task of going and doing all of those that grind today. It's like thinking, well, how lucky is it that I've got that grass to go and aerate and do some weeding, and you know that I can see all of the plants, you know that I can have, I got eyesight, and I can see all of these plants that have benefited from the rain, and I don't know, it's just It's kind of strange, but it kind of brings a tear to my eye nearly, you know. Maybe it's just the way I am, but it's just kind of, you know, the gratitude for my sons, you know, for the way they are, and for my wife, and yeah, just for, I don't know, being able to help people as well and stuff like that, which feels like very satisfying work. You know, that side of work that I do at least is very satisfying. Um, yeah, and just things like, you know, the potential to do some wood work or wood carving. I've collected some different types of wood. Um, one of them's yew tree wood, which I'm a bit like, it's toxic yew tree wood, but beautifully coloured, scented, and I also picked up some hazel wood, which is very good for making walking sticks or for making a bow. Even I am tempted to make a bow, and I might make some. Well, when I was a kid, I used to enjoy wood carving a wee bit. I used to collect. I used to collect axes and knives as a kid, and I used to love, you know, getting a new axe or getting a new knife, and I would whittle wood a lot, you know, and I would use the axe quite a lot for, you know, all sorts, chopping wood and stuff, but also, yeah, just general use around the place. And I used to chop a lot of wood when I was a kid, you know, and collect a lot of wood. And we didn't have electricity in the house that I grew up in, from about age, I don't know when it was, 6 or 7 or something, through to, and until I was 18, I lived in a house with no electricity, and no running water for a long time because it was lead pipes. So we had to go and collect the water from a local stream, and then we eventually got a water pipe, or cold water pipe, installed. And we didn't have a bathroom or anything like that, and so there was this thing where I had to make my own entertainment to a certain extent. So I'd read a lot and go fishing, collect wood, and things like that, and make small attempts at growing vegetables, even though it was a very harsh environment for growing in Scotland, in that certain area there, in the Highlands. But yeah, so I get little flickers of that sometimes, you know, and I just think about that. But yeah, so there's these little, like, the potential to do a bit of that, um, wood carving again, you know. I used to make weapons, you know, out of pieces of wood, and you know, it just makes me laugh because I know what psychologists and society might think about. You know, they might make predictions about what would happen, what this profile of this person would be. You know, that as a teenager would collect and you know, enjoy collecting knives and axes and making weapons. But but you know, I don't think it's always set in stone what happens, you know. And I think that's something to maybe finish on, is things are not set in stone, you know, and you can make things happen for yourself. Have a good one.